So you're considering moving to Ohio, but you're not quite sure if you want to move to Cincinnati or Columbus, Ohio, and more specifically, you want to look at what city is going to be more affordable. Well, stay tuned because in today's video, we're going to look at both cities and compare 4 different cost of living expenses between Columbus and Cincinnati so you can make an informed decision for you and your family on what city would be better to move to in 2023 and beyond. You will not want to miss it. Let's go. All right, before we get into our comparison of the cost of living between Columbus and Cincinnati, let's go over what is cost of living. It's exactly what it sounds like. What will it cost someone to live somewhere? Now, cost of living is going to factor in expenses such as housing, transportation, groceries, healthcare, and other miscellaneous goods and services that can be factored in as well. According to PayScale, Columbus, Ohio's cost of living is 10% lower than the national average, while Cincinnati, Ohio's cost of living is going to be 6% lower than the national average. Now, as you can see, both of these places are going to be more affordable than most major metropolitan areas and most major cities throughout the United States, which is both amazing. So at the end of the day, before we get any further, I do want to say both of these places are going to be very cost effective if you are moving to the Midwest, so it's going to come down to personal preference at the end of the day. The first cost of living expense we are going to look at is the median 2-bedroom apartment rent price going in both areas. Starting in Columbus, that number is going to be almost $1,200. And when we look at Cincinnati, that number is going to be below $1,100, coming in at almost $1,050. So as you can see right off the bat, Cincinnati is going to be cheaper to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. Next, let's look at the cost of a dozen eggs. In Columbus, we are looking at almost $1.80, and in Cincinnati, we are barely over $1.50. So as you can see, the cost of a dozen eggs is going to be slightly more expensive here in Columbus, Ohio. So if you're going to buy a ton of eggs, this might make a massive difference, but as you can see, food in both areas are going to be affordable and not much of a difference. Next on the list, we're going to look at the cost of difference to visit a doctor in each of these cities. Coming in Cincinnati, we are slightly over $132, and as compared to Columbus, we are slightly over $120. So as you can see, per visit, it's $12 more expensive in Cincinnati to visit a doctor. Now, obviously, depending on your company and your healthcare, these numbers could change, but if you're just paying out of pocket and for your deductible, typically Cincinnati is going to be more expensive when it comes to visiting the doctor. Finally, let's look at the cost of a gallon of gas. In Cincinnati, we are looking at $3.57, and in Columbus, we are looking at $3.40. So as you can see, Cincinnati is going to be more expensive. So if you're driving a lot, this is something you may want to consider when deciding if you want to move to Cincinnati or Columbus. But honestly, I can guarantee you, sometimes Columbus may be just as expensive as Cincinnati, or vice versa, but at the time of making this video, Cincinnati does have higher gas prices on average. Columbus, Ohio and Cincinnati, Ohio are going to be 2 affordable places you should definitely consider when moving to the Midwest. Not only are they both cheaper to live when it comes to cost of living than the national average, they both have tremendous growth in each of their cities. In my opinion, I am a local realtor here in Columbus, Ohio, and have lived here my entire life. And I can say the growth here in Columbus, Ohio is much more than even Cincinnati, Ohio, or Cleveland, Ohio, which we did not talk about today. But Columbus, Ohio, in my opinion, is really affordable. The economic growth is going to be absolutely absurd starting now in 2023 and over the next decade. Columbus, Ohio is going to see massive growth. So if you're looking for a place to live, housing here in Columbus is going to be slightly more expensive than Cincinnati, Ohio to buy a house, but there is so much more economic growth in my opinion here in Columbus, Ohio than in Cincinnati, Ohio. With that that being said, Cincinnati, Ohio and Columbus, Ohio are both fantastic places to live, both really affordable when you compare them to other metropolitan areas throughout the United States, and you can't go wrong with either. So like I mentioned before, you cannot go wrong with either place. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the comparison of cost of living between Cincinnati, Ohio and Columbus, Ohio. They are both fantastic places to live. Before I let you go, I quickly wanted to mention I am a licensed realtor here in Columbus, Ohio. So as much as I love making these videos, I would love to help you with all of your real estate needs. So my information will be on the screen. I answer every single phone, text, and call that comes in. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Until next time, have a great day.